Hi, my name is Jason, and today I'm going to share my favorite tips for getting comfortable in a hammock. I'll be using the Go Camping Hammock 2.0 in this video, but these tips will apply to any brand of gathered-in hammock. I want to start by saying that comfort is subjective, and what works for one person may not work for another. So it's important to experiment to see what you find most comfortable. Tip number 1. My first tip is to make sure that your hammock is long enough to be comfortable. For most people, the longer a hammock is, the more comfortable it feels. Many hammock camping experts prefer hammocks that are 11 feet long. It's a great length for getting comfortable, but not too heavy or bulky for camping or hiking. If it's much longer than 11 feet, it gets more difficult to find a spot to hang because you'll need more distance between the trees. Why is a longer hammock more comfortable? For a couple of reasons. First, it helps flatten out your body position compared to shorter hammocks. This makes a big difference when sleeping in a hammock through the night. It also reduces calf ridge, a hammock phenomenon which creates a tight section of fabric that puts uncomfortable pressure on the back of your knees and calves. You might not notice calf ridge at first, but after spending some time in a shorter hammock, you probably will. For these reasons, all Go Outfitters brand hammocks are 11 feet long. Tip number 2. My next and possibly most important tip is to lie at a diagonal angle when you're in a hammock. This helps flatten out your body position and allows you to bend your knees, similar to the position you're in when you're sitting in one of those zero gravity chairs. Many try sleeping straight down the middle of a hammock in the banana position, but their knees usually end up hurting because they're hyperextended. Some people, however, say they're comfortable sleeping in the center of the hammock, so give it a try if you want. Tip number 3. Use a structural ridgeline. The ridgeline is the gray rope that runs from one end of the hammock to the other. In addition to supporting the bug net, it also sets the sag of the hammock for maximum comfort every time. The ridgeline works by setting the distance from one end of the hammock to the other. This in turn changes the way the hammock supports your body. Most experts agree that if a hammock is too tight or too loose, it's just not comfortable. Hanging a hammock with the same amount of sag each time isn't easy without a structural ridgeline, so I recommend using one. If you're making a ridgeline for your own hammock, a good starting point for the length is 82 to 85% of the hammock length. Tip number 4. Drop the head end. I recommend starting by setting up your hammock with the head end 6 to 10 inches lower than the foot end. This moves your body closer to the head end, which helps reduce calf ridge. Many people who try this find it much more comfortable than a level setup. Try different heights for the head end and foot end and see what you like. Tip number 5. Set the hammock up at a comfortable height for sitting. This makes it easy to get into and out of, plus a hammock makes a great chair. You want to make sure that the hammock is low enough so the edge of the hammock isn't digging into the back of your knees while your feet are on the ground, but also high enough so it's easy to stand up from the seated position. Tip number 6. Try using a pillow. I always use a small pillow when I'm sleeping in a hammock. I find it much more comfortable with a little extra head and neck support. A pillow makes it a lot easier for me to find a comfortable position. Our adventure pillow is a nice option, and it includes a carabiner and shock cord, so you can clip it to your hammock suspension so it's easy to find at night. Tip number 7. Find your hammock's sweet spot. After you follow the above tips and have a very comfortable setup, it's time to find the sweet spot. The sweet spot is a place in the hammock and a body position where you experience next level comfort. It's like floating on a cloud. How do you find the sweet spot? By experimenting with minor adjustments, like increasing and decreasing the diagonal angle, moving your body a little closer to the head end or foot end, bending one or both knees, or shifting your weight slightly to one side or the other, and so on. Try this over a few days, and once you've found the sweet spot, you'll probably be a hammock camper for life. More videos are coming soon, so subscribe to our channel if you want to see them. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.